The Terrifying Lies Podcast, with music and stories by Craig Nybo. Greetings, friends, and welcome to the Terrifying Lies Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Nybo. Before we dive in, I want to let you know about the perks of backing the Patreon for this show. As a supporter, you get exclusive early access to episodes as I produce them, depending on your backer level. No waiting for new drops. You'll also snag high-resolution downloads of the songs and some of the extra digital goodies like expanded content, extra music, and more. And if you're feeling fancy, the VIP tier comes with a limited edition season t-shirt at the end of each season. Check the show description for the Patreon link and join the spooky fun. Now, a little warning before we get started. This is part 10 of a 13-part series. If you haven't listened to the early episodes, I recommend going back. Otherwise, things might get a little confusing. To catch you up, Twana, MindeeLee, Butch, and the clone Bieber have landed at the Collundrome, the biggest rock and roll venue in the universe, for the Pan-Galactic Prom Show. Their mission, get Bieber back up on stage as the headliner. But it won't be easy. The twists keep coming. Today's story is titled Bieber's Finger, part 10 of 13.
Heartbeeps stood nestled in a block of well-lit shops. A large display window fronted the building. Animated mannequins featured outlandish outfits fashioned with glaring fabrics, plastics, and metal. Holographic displays behind the glass flashed up a parade of clothing for seemingly every alien body type, one after the other, like a carnival of gaudy vanity. Butch led the others into the department store. Creatures from across the universe perused the stock. Heartbeeps carried something tragically shishi for all types and walks of creatures. There was a section for Slorax, for Nax from the planet Punj. For the glowing creatures of the Zlinth system, they carried elongated clothing with more than 2 sleeves. They carried squat robes multicolored with 2 neck openings. They carried kinetic clothing with undulating appendages and electronic buzzers. After a bit of browsing, Twana spotted a sign that read, "Welcome Earthlings to the Collundrome." She led the others through racks and racks of clothing to the human apparel department.
I don't know what we're looking for here,
she said to Butch as she began to browse the stock.
We need to get Bieber in front of Arrowheart.
Arrowheart won't pay us any attention unless we look the part.
We don't have money. Pushy'll cut us off.
I have money,
MindeeLee said, taking a credit chip out of her little purse.
Don't worry about a thing.
The 4 of them shopped for the better part of an hour. The girls tried on outfit after outfit, but Butch insisted on final say in what would and wouldn't be right for the situation. In the end, they walked out with an entire wardrobe of clothing, all flashy and glitzy, gold and red with plastic and metal accessories. Butch used a map in his welcome packet to find their rooms. They made their way through the streets, lugging their bags and boxes along. Once they reached the hotel, a brightly lit beacon of a building, its inner sanctum loud and flashy with casinos and street-level shopping, they found their rooms and laid out their new outfits across their beds.
We're gonna look like a circus,
Twana said.
Or pop stars, or actors, or talent managers.
Butch said.
Trust me, we need to look the part or we don't have a chance.
Butch went through the girls' and Bieber's outfits, picked out the best of them. The 4 of them changed. As they exited the hotel, Twana didn't realize how badly they hadn't fit in before souping up their wardrobes. It seemed everyone dressed in splashy color, all kitschied up, like peacocks. Of the 4 of them, Bieber looked the most conservative. Butch had selected something from the business department. Posh enough that he would fit in, but subdued enough not to be Bieber. He wore a new pair of sunglasses and a stylish hat. But there was no hiding his good looks from occasional human teenage girls wearing their "I'll always have Bieber fever" t-shirts. The clone still drew glances.
Butchie, you're a genius. There's no way Arrowheart won't listen to us now,
Twana said.
He's a high roller, sis. It's not going to be that simple, but there's one thing for sure. I'd want to try this on an empty stomach. Let's find something to eat, then we can go see Arrowheart.
Butch, the girls, and Bieber fought their way through the crowded streets to a bistro, decorated with sidewalk banners and an awning to shade diners from the light generated by an artificial sun high above. The girls ordered hamburgers, the clone ordered a fish sandwich. Butch opened his welcome packet and fumbled through the materials, mostly brochures outlining the adventures and diversions available at the Collundrome, information about where to go to find the pulse of the asteroid city's nightlife. He laid a map out on the table. He looked up, read the sign above the bistro, Space Rockets.
We are here,
Butch said, pointing to the bistro's spot on the map. He looked at their surroundings and aligned the map as best he could to get a scope of the entire underground network of walkways, narrow streets, and buildings. He found the Collundrome main offices, the largest building in the network, and pointed at it.
Arrowheart will be here, probably in the penthouse.
This is an excellent fish sandwich,
Bieber said around his enormous bite of bread and fish.
I tried real fish once, you know.
MindeeLee said.
My dad, he's loaded. We managed to get a permit and we were able to catch 2 actual fish. We had to hike forever before we got to the fishing spot. We grilled them right there and then, at Lakeside. At the time, I thought it tasted yummy. But then my dad left me and my mom flat. So now I kind of remember it tasting like dirt.
Everyone looked at each other, none of them knowing exactly what to say.
Well, this fish,
said Bieber.
fake it may be, tastes delicious. Here, have a bite.
He offered the edge of the sandwich to MindeeLee. A lazy smile grew on her face as she leaned forward and took a bite.
We need to go see Slink Arrowheart,
Twana said.
I'll do my best to get us in.
Butch said. The 4 of them finished their sandwiches and left the bistro. Butch led them along a series of boardwalks. He remained oblivious to distractions, alluring creatures, shopping, recreational diversions, exotic food and drinks. The asteroid city was a constant party, but this was no vacation. He had to get Bieber up on that stage. The Collundrome's main office building overwhelmed Butch and the others. It stood so high that it penetrated the rocky roof of the hollowed-out asteroid far above. The 4 of them looked up at the intimidating structure, wondering what it had taken to create such an architectural wonder. They had all seen photographs of the building in travel magazines and celebrity periodicals, but no photograph could do justice for the volume and beauty of the structure. The whole building gleamed with gold-tinted mirrors, all polished and glitz, reflecting the sights and sounds, all of the sensory overload of the Collundrome asteroid city, back in reflective warmth. Butch led the girls and the clone into the building. They met a smartly dressed security guard behind a white desk.
May I help you?
The security guard asked in an accent none of the 4 recognized.
We are here to see Mr. Arrowheart,
Butch said, leaning on the desk and using a well-polished smile that took Twana back a few steps. She wasn't used to seeing him grin. The security guard eyed Butch dubiously.
Do you have an appointment with Mr. Arrowheart?
Technically, we don't. But I think I have brought an asset with me that could be quite a PR boost for his fine establishment, especially with current affairs being what they are.
The security guard leaned hard on his desk, his hands far apart on the plastic surface.
If you don't have appointment, I can't let you see him. Mr. Arrowheart, he's busy, Slorak.
Butch raised a dismissive hand and softened his demeanor.
Hey, I totally understand. I don't mean to put any undue pressure on you. I get that Mr. Arrowheart is probably much too busy to see us, but
Butch leaned in close.
I sincerely feel that what I have to offer might mean a great deal of money to Mr. Arrowheart.
Butch gestured to a security camera mounted high on the wall.
If you could simply ring him up and patch the feed from that camera to his private office for even just a minute, I think Mr. Arrowheart might get the full breadth and width of what I have brought for him.
The security guard glanced up at the camera. He looked Butch over, from head to toe, sizing him up. Butch leaned into his greatest smile yet. The security guard scowled.
Perhaps I can raise his assistant.
That would be splendid, thank you.
Butch said. The security guard picked up a handset and punched an extension into a keypad. After a moment's pause, he spoke up.
Yes, Azriel, I have 2 gentlemen and 2 ladies down here. They say they have something to pitch to Mr. Arrowheart.
A pause.
They say they don't need access to his office. If you can take a quick look at the front entrance security cam, they are prepared to demonstrate from here.
Another pause. The security guard looked up at Butch. He nodded at whatever Arrowheart's assistant had to say. He turned a wireless security monitor on his desk around to where Butch and the others could see the screen. Slink, Arrowheart's assistant, appeared on the monitor. She had blue skin and the most interesting hairdo, stringy strands of shock white that Butch had ever seen.
This is Azriel, personal assistant to Mr. Arrowheart.
The guard said.
Whatever it is you have brought, go ahead and show it to her.
Butch moved behind Bieber. He put a hand on each of the clone's shoulders and positioned him squarely in front of the camera. He looked up at the little lens and flashed his best smile again.
Greetings. I first want to say that we are all big fans of the Collundrome and especially of the Pan-Galactic Prom Show.
Get on with it,
Azriel said.
We've seen a lot of black t-shirts out there in the streets and walkways since we arrived today. Seems everyone is saddened by the loss of one of the most powerful pop stars who has ever lived.
Get to the point.
Azriel said.
Today we bring you a gift from Earth. Bieber's assassination made big news, and let's face it, the loss of his headlining the prom show has severely hurt the ratings of your intergalactic event. The truth is, as Bieber's new manager, I could see the writing on the wall. Bieber was sliding down a slippery slope. His fans were growing up, his base was ebbing off. His days of super fame were numbered, and so I and Bieber, that is, decided to take drastic measures. And those measures will poise both Bieber and your venue for the biggest ratings in all of Pan-Galactic Prom Show history. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the airwaves. They are playing more Bieber songs now than ever.
The security guard tapped a finger on his desk, waiting for Butch to get to his point.
I present, for the first time since the faked assassination of Bieber, live and in the flesh, the genuine article.
Someone else stepped on camera behind Azriel, a slippery being with tentacles, 2 mouths, and 3 eyes. Slink Arrowheart himself. He crouched down to better see the screen. Butch continued his pitch.
I give you the superstar and object of every teenage girl's affection back from the dead, and right here at the Collundrome, the real and everlasting Bieber.
Butch took Bieber's glasses and hat off. Both the security guards and Azriel's jaws dropped. Arrowheart didn't look so impressed. He angled his head this way and that as if trying to view the clone from different vantage points through the monitor. Finally, he spoke up.
He's an impersonator.
He's not an impersonator,
Twana said.
He's the real deal, and we can prove it.
I can get an impersonator anywhere.
MindeeLee chimed in.
Mr. Arrowheart, if you could just give us a few minutes of your time, face to face, we can show you without a doubt that this is the real Bieber.
Both of Arrowheart's mouths curled into smiles.
You know, I like your spunk, girls. And any guest of the Collundrome is a friend of mine.
Butch heard the insincerity in Arrowheart's voice. He knew where this was going.
I'm gonna have Ronsdale down there treat you each to 100 credit chips. You got that, Ronsdale?
Copy that, Mr. Arrowheart.
The security officer said.
I offer this gift on one condition. I want to make sure that you kids have a great time at the Pan-Galactic Prom Show. It's slated to be one astral blast of a party. Thanks for the visit, and enjoy the show.
But Mr. Arrowheart,
Twana said. The monitor went black. Ronsdale put the wireless monitor back behind his desk. He opened a drawer and brought out 4 chips. He slid them across to Twana and the others.
Thanks for visiting the Collundrome, where dreams and reality meet at the same party.
Sir,
Butch said.
Thanks for visiting the Collundrome, where dreams and reality meet at the same party. Now get lost.
Downtrodden, Twana, MindeeLee, Butch, and Bieber turned to leave the corporate tower. But just as they reached the exit, Butch turned on his heel.
hey brother, there's one more thing.
Ronsdale looked up from his security desk, rolling his eyes.
Yes, how may I help you?
Do you have a restroom I can use?
Ronsdale pointed lazily around the corner down a long hallway.
Thank you.
Butch said. He turned to Twana and said under his breath,
Follow my lead.
He walked by the security desk with the girls and Bieber in tow. They moved down the hall right past the restrooms. They kept going until Butch found what he was looking for, a janitorial closet.
Keep a lookout.
Butch said. They formed a spontaneous perimeter blockade around Butch as he dug in his pocket for the bobby pin and Allen wrench he'd kept from the space bus. He crouched down and worked the lock.
I have discovered, over the balance of my career, that you can find most of what you will ever need in the average janitorial closet.
With a few flicks of the bobby pin, Butch managed to throw the tumblers. He pushed the door open and entered the closet. The others remained outside until he popped his head out and said,
Come on in.
They staggered over each other into the small storage room. Butch scanned the shelves and cleaning carts for anything he could use. He snatched up an industrial toilet plunger and unscrewed the handle. He stood up on a 2-step ladder for a look at what was on the shelves. He spotted a plastic container full of zip ties. He spun off the lid and grabbed a handful.
And somewhere, there should be some... there it is.
Butch said as he snatched a roll of duct tape from another shelf. He jumped off the 2-step.
No matter what happens, I want you to stay here.
Twana, MindeeLee, and Bieber all nodded in unison. Butch opened the door and pushed one of the cleaning carts out into the hallway. He heard the door shut behind him and felt relieved to have his sister, if not out of danger, at least out of sight. He navigated the cart up the hallway and stopped just around the corner from Ronsdale. He put both hands on the handle of the cleaning cart, drew it back, and pushed it as hard as he could against the wall. Everything on the cart clattered. Bottles of disinfectants and cleaning agents slammed against the wall and skittered to the ground. Tools of the trade, squeegees, brooms, canisters, towels scattered everywhere. Butch ducked behind cover to listen. He heard Ronsdale get down from his stool and walk toward the commotion, cursing as he moved along. Butch raised the plunger handle and kept his eyes open. As Ronsdale came around the corner, Butch swung, smacking the security guard as hard as he could, right in the forehead. Ronsdale's eyebrows raised in perplexity. He fumbled up one of his hands in a spoiled attempt at self-defense, but Butch was already in mid-swing. It took 3 good blows to put the security guard down. Butch hoped he hadn't hurt the alien too badly and had to swing with more force than anticipated to knock him cold.
Sorry, man.
Butch said as he flipped the security guard over onto his back. He glanced both ways and grabbed Ronsdale under the arms. Step by step, he dragged the big creature to the janitorial closet.
What did you do?
Twana asked as Butch opened the door and maneuvered Ronsdale inside.
You might not understand the nature of the situation.
Butch said.
Depesio will have us killed unless we gain some kind of leverage. You said it best, sis. We gotta get Bieber up on that stage and into the limelight.
Butch shoved a paper towel into Ronsdale's mouth and fixed it with duct tape.
Give me a hand here. We need to take his uniform off.
The 4 of them stripped Ronsdale down to a pair of alien cartoon character underwear and a tank top. Butch flipped him over onto his belly and zip-tied his wrists and ankles together in record time. The man hadn't moved since being cold-cocked.
We gotta go,
Butch said as he put on the alien's pants and shirt, both much too large. He used zip ties to tighten the fit at the waist. He shrugged on Ronsdale's purple coat and donned his Collundrome Tower security hat.
What is your plan?
Twana said.
I don't have a plan.
He picked up the plunger handle and tucked it behind his arm. He hoped he wouldn't have to use it again.
We're gonna get caught.
MindeeLee said.
That might be true.
Butch said.
We're already in it now. Come on, let's move.
Butch pulled open the janitorial closet door and strode out into the hall. The others stayed behind, huddled together like lost children.
Come on, someone's gonna notice that this guy is missing. We need to get out of here now.
The others moved into the hall. Butch led the way, trying to keep it cool. He rounded the corner and found the elevators. He snapped his fingers, realizing that he had overlooked something.
Just a minute,
He said.
I gotta check on something.
He trotted back to the security desk and rifled through the cabinets and drawers. They were full of Ronsdale's personal belongings, a couple of magazines, a plate of odious food, nothing he would ever dream of putting into his mouth, a bag of sweets, only they were alive, crawling over each other with hundreds of little articulating legs. Finally, he spotted a ring of plastic scanner strips sitting next to a thermos. He snatched them up, threw them into his pocket, and headed back to the elevators. Butch looked over the elevator floor buttons. Each had an unrecognizable, otherworldly symbol on it. He pushed the topmost button, assuming that Arrowheart's office would be the penthouse. The elevator didn't move. The top floor must be accessed only with security clearance. He cursed and fumbled in his pocket for the keyring he had stolen from the security desk. He tried one of the plastic strips in the slot beneath the floor buttons. It fit, but didn't grant access to the top floor. One by one, he plugged the scanner strips into the slot and pushed the penthouse button. Precious time ticked by as he worked through the ring. Finally, as he tried one of the last scanner strips, the elevator jounced into motion. A readout illuminated above the door, displaying a parade of odd symbols, probably counting off the floors as the elevator made its ascent. Everyone stood in silence as the elevator churned on its hydraulics. Butch tucked the plunger handle behind his arm, out of sight and out of mind, ready to swing at a second's notice. Nobody made eye contact as the elevator settled into its penthouse berth and the doors slid open. The penthouse gleamed with gold-colored marble, pillars, and mirrors. Arrowheart had spared no expense on the decor. A mixture of gaudy metal and plastics contrasted with black marble. A squid-like woman, which recognized her as Azrael from the closed-circuit feed back on Ronsdale's command center, sat behind a voluminous reception desk. Dozens of narrow, ropey appendages extended from her head, styled with beads, feathers, and some kind of parti-colored paint.
Can I help you?
She asked. Butch walked into the lavish reception area, keeping the plunger handle tucked behind his arm. He hoped Ronsdale's oversized security uniform would be enough to fool her.
Ronsdale told me to bring these guests up. He felt this Bieber issue was worth looking into a little more seriously. Apparently, the girl can prove his authenticity.
Azrael blinked.
And you are?
Name's Claude Wilhammer. I'm new.
I don't recognize you,
she said.
I'm new.
Where's Ronsdale?
Azrael asked.
He's manning the front door at security, and so he sent me up.
Azrael pushed a little button on her desk, keeping her eyes on Butch.
Ronsdale, this is Azrael. I have someone named Claude Wilhammer here. He's brought the Bieber impersonator and his entourage to the penthouse. Can you explain this?
Nothing came from Ronsdale's end of the call. Azrael pushed the button again.
Ronsdale, are you there?
Butch rolled his eyes.
Look, lady, I'm really sorry about this.
Excuse me?
Azrael said. Butch cold-cocked her across the head with his plunger handle. He pulled the blow, assuming that her squiddish cranium might not act as an adequate protectorate from potential brain trauma. He assumed correctly. With just a marginally hard smack, he knocked her out. Azrael slumped sideways in her chair.
We're in deep doo-doo now,
MindeeLee said, covering her mouth with a quivering hand.
If this Slink Arrowheart is anything like the people I deal with at my day job,
Butch said as he went to work zip-tying Azrael's tentacles together,
then we're speaking his language. He'll either listen or he'll kill us. If we do nothing, we're dead anyway.
Butch stood up from his work and looked around the room. There were no visible doors except the elevator entrance. He moved up behind Azrael's control surface, a panel fixed with buttons labeled with the same foreign symbols Butch had seen in the elevator. He pushed them one by one. Different feeds came through the monitor on her desk. Security cameras, calls to guard posts wherein different security guards glanced at their monitors, which assured each of them that this was a routine security check and for them to get on with their work. He found it, a large blue button set off from the others. balled up his fist and pounded on it. An enormous set of hidden doors slid open behind Azrael's security desk, transforming the whole floor into a grand suite. Twana, MindeeLee, and Bieber's jaws dropped at the enormity of the penthouse and at who sat behind a gigantic hydraulic desk in the middle of the lavish chamber. None other than Slink Arrowheart, all glitz and attitude. He looked up from his desk through his purple-tinted tri-lens glasses and smiled with both of his mouths.
Hi,
he said.
I see your light across the sky, burning bright, you're my reason why. No matter how far, I'll chase the glow, riding the waves where the comets go. I don't need a rocket, don't need a plane, just a fire in my heart and your name in my veins. The universe is calling, the stars align. Hold on, baby, I'm crossing time. I'm surfing a supernova, riding the light just to get to you. Through galaxies and black hole skies, nothing can stop me. I'm breaking through. I'll chase the stars, I'll burn right in to hold you close, to touch your skin. I'm surfing a supernova, baby, I'm coming for you. The planets spin, but they don't know the way my love for you will grow. Gravity can pull me down, not when your voice is the sweetest sound. I don't need a rocket, don't need a plane, just the fire in my heart and your name in my veins. The universe is calling, the stars align. Hold on, baby, I'm crossing time. I'm surfing a supernova, riding the light just to get to you. Through galaxies and black hole skies, nothing can stop me. I'm breaking through. I'll chase the stars, I'll burn right in to hold you close, to touch your skin. I'm surfing a supernova, baby, I'm coming for you. I'm chasing fire through the endless night, racing past the speed of light. Hold on, love, I'm almost there. Feel the sparks dance in the air. Every second, every mile, I travel worlds just to see you smile. Supernovas burning fade, but our love will never ever change. I'm surfing a supernova, riding the light just to get to you. Through galaxies and black hole skies, nothing can stop me. I'm breaking through. I'll chase the stars, I'll burn right in to hold you close, to touch your skin. I'm surfing a supernova, baby, I'm coming for you. I'm surfing a supernova. I see your light across the sky, burning bright, you're my reason why.
So far this season, I have stuck with K-pop inspired synth and kept the acoustic stuff on the sidelines. But for today's song, I decided to shake things up. I brought in some guitar, both rhythm and lead, and laid down an electric bass line to give it a more human feel. I drew some inspiration from synth pop bands like The Killers. I'm happy with how it turned out. I hope you dig it too. It stays true to our season theme, Love in Space, which ties in nicely with Bieber's Finger. The song is called I'm Surfing a Supernova. Baby, I'm coming for you. We're closing in on the end of Bieber's finger. It's been a strange trip through space, no doubt. But only 3 episodes are left. Anything could happen, and trust me, you won't see what's coming. Thanks again for tuning in to the Terrifying Lies podcast. I consider all of you my friends. I sometimes wish we could gather around a backyard fire pit and swap stories deep into the night. People fascinate me, their struggles and their triumphs. I hope you're finding more triumph these days. Until next time, I bid you sweet dreams. Or should I say, sweet nightmares.
This has been the Terrifying Lies podcast. Please, come again. You're welcome here.